Hey, how are you guys? My name is Harrison Barrett, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about this little device right here. So this is a webcam, and ultimately, you're probably using it for Zoom interviews, podcast interviews, or just communicating with people. But here's the catch. Most people's videos kind of look not so great, and their audio quality is probably less than desirable as well. And without spending any money, I'm going to teach you guys how to do a massive upgrade with your existing hardware. Now, I'm also going to leave some recommendations to hardware that I use down below or some really good streaming cameras. However, this is with your existing hardware, how to take it to the next level. So it doesn't matter if you are on a Zoom call with some business people, Zoom call with friends and family, or you are just interviewing somebody for your podcast. Either way, your video quality and even your audio quality is going to be so much better than anybody else's with your existing hardware. I know it sounds a little too good to be true, but believe it or not, in video, lighting is probably the most important thing. I'm going to cover all of that. So in a moment here, we're going to hop over to Zoom, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what some people see. Now, what prompted this? I was sitting in a BNI group this morning, and we were talking, and everybody was like, wow, your setup looks so professional. And the funny part is, I wasn't even on my $1,500 webcam. I was on my little $60 webcam, and people were like blown away by it. So I want to show you guys some tips and tricks that you can use to make your stuff look so much better. So without any further ado, let's jump into Zoom here. Alrighty, so we are on Zoom, and I want to show you guys a couple things that I've learned right off the bat. Now, I get it. Not everybody's going to have a microphone. Not everybody is going to have a well-positioned webcam. And those are things that you could easily fix. If you're on a laptop, simply propping that up with a couple books is going to massively impact that. Also, understanding where your microphone is. So if I record through my webcam, which is going to sound just like this, the audio quality is going to change drastically. I am actually very excited to see what it sounds like afterwards, because now I'm recording completely on my webcam. This is completely disregarded at this point. Now, obviously the quality is not that great, but knowing what you are using to record, such as my nice microphone here, is a massive improvement. Now, microphones are really not that expensive. For anywhere between 8 to about 25, 30 bucks, you can get a really nice microphone. I mean, this is a $100 microphone, but honestly, between really like 10 bucks and about $35, $40, you can get a massive improvement on your microphone. Is it a good investment? Chances are pretty good you're using Zoom for some kind of business at some point or another. So why not? I mean, it's a nominal amount of money for a massive upgrade. Now, the second thing I see people do is they sit in dark rooms. Now, this webcam particularly, and most webcams, try to compensate for dark rooms. So currently I have my window open over here. I'll actually pan this over. I have to hold it here, but I have my webcam sitting up, or better yet, my window's open over there. And the room is not as well lit as it could be because now all the light's coming from the back. I do have a bigger monitor, so there is some light coming to my face, but you'll see that if I move my hand, there's a lot of motion blur in it. I do look visible. I'm definitely not bad, and I do look pretty professional, but there's some ways that you can easily upgrade it. Now, if you look over here, that's the nice webcam, but if you look over there, there is a box light. And the cool part is when I turn this on, and I got to tone it down a little bit, and the camera's taking care of a lot of adjustments. Now you're able to see a lot more of me, right? But half of my face is a little overexposed because the camera can't quite understand and comprehend, hey, this side is dark and this side is light. So uniform lighting when it comes to webcams is tremendously important. So now if I turn on my little ring lights off to the side, you can start to see me way clearer. Now, I understand it lights up the room, but now if you look at my hand, there's way less motion blur. There's less of a delay. So when you're speaking to somebody, whether it's a Zoom call or a podcast, it's going to be much sharper and much cleaner because the camera is trying to do a lot of mathematical algorithms to make your video and your appearance look as good as possible. So now I'm a bit separated from the back. The camera now knows where to focus. It has a shallower depth of field, and the quality is much better. There's significantly less motion blur. It's a realistic motion blur. And now I look way better. At least I try to look way better on the camera here. But just these two lights, I have a little ring camera over here, and I'm going to pick this thing up here because I don't have a mobile camera, but I have a little ring camera over there. And then I have this little light box sitting over us, right? And that little light box is actually what's providing all the light. So from two sources, right, you can kind of see the shadows on my body here of where those lights are coming from. Massive improvement. Now, if you don't have two lights that you can get in two different areas, one light right overhead would make a massive impact. You just want a bit of a diffuser, that little white kind of foggy looking device that goes in front of a light, one of those will make a world of difference when it comes to your video. So those are some of the tips that you're going to need when you are recording. Now, like I said, you could always prop up your laptop on some books. Maybe it's a small chair, whatever it might be, that you can get a little creative in ways to get that camera so it's looking right at you is huge. Believe it or not, super strange. A small office garbage pail does a phenomenal job with a laptop. I know this because that's what I used to use. I went out, it was like $6 or $7, brand new, and I put it on my desk because it just brought the camera to the perfect height when I'm working remotely on my laptop, which you will not be seeing this office for like the next week or so because I am doing my 120 videos in 120 days. But this is what the camera will look like and the quality that you will see. Now, Zoom is a little maxed out as far as the quality that it can deliver. But if you guys do spend some extra money, and I'm not saying you need to go spend $1,500, but if you want a super high quality setup, and I'm trying to look at myself here, you can have something such as this, where now I have my little remote. I can adjust the brightness here and really kind of dial it in as far as the warmth and the temperature of the lights. And now this is the setup that I normally use, but I'm recording on Zoom. So you're going to see what a $1,500 4K camera looks like. It's got a 1.6 millimeter, 1.6 f-stop lens. It has a 16 millimeter lens, and it is a Sony a6400 with a Elgato cam link. Sorry, a lot to remember. I'm going to put all those links down below. And this is so overkill. You don't need this. I make a ton of YouTube videos. I actually got this for client work, but it just happens to work really, really well in my normal day-to-day operations. So if you want something like this, it's definitely overkill. Something that is definitely feasible is taking your existing camera and just using the right amount of lights, right? Something with a controller. If you look at this controller here, there is some options on there. So I have about 20 to 100% power that I can adjust, or a little clicker. And if I just come down a little bit on there, you're then going to be able to see I come into focus. The background's not as blurred out or as clear, but now I'm immediately separated. Now, if you're looking for the next level stuff that you've seen in a lot of my videos, I'm going to show you guys that right now. So now I have my little LEDs lights back there. So it's lighting up the back. It separates me a little bit. Now, this camera in particular is really not that great at kind of separating the colors out for myself to the back, but you'll see that there's a massive upgrade in the quality and the look of my whole studio. And those lights, I think, were about 40 or $50 for a set of 4 of them, and I currently only use 2 of them. So those sitting up there, they adjust to a couple colors that work with my nice camera, and you can go check them out. I mean, it comes with a full RGB light set here, and you can go in there and adjust those colors depending on the meeting or the theme colors or whatever you're really going for. Now, like I said, it does have a little bit of an issue separating me from the background. So I look a little greener, look a little more funky, but inside Zoom, you can play around with a couple of those settings, and every single person's setup is going to be a little different. Now, I also mentioned that I was going to talk to you guys about audio quality. Audio quality is important. I already talked about upgrading your microphones, but what are some free ways that you can absolutely upgrade your audio? Number one is make sure you're talking into something that absorbs sound. So I'm going to turn you guys around really quickly here, and you're actually going to see that I use a nice moving blanket. There's no easy option, but I put a moving blanket back there to help prevent some of the sound from hitting off the wall and coming back to me. Massive upgrade. I covered one wall with it, and honestly, for about 16 bucks, it is well worth it. Now, I could have gone sound foam, which would have done a way better job. However, I'm currently in an apartment right now, and sound foam is way more expensive than 2 moving blankets held up with some thumbtacks. For the extremely inexpensive cost of this and being able to take it down in less than 5 minutes is well worth the value that I got out of it. Now, like I said, if you want to go spend money on sound foam, you will make a massive difference in audio quality, because a lot of people, when they're using a webcam or a laptop, it's typically hard to get rid of the echo, that depth of the room that you're in. And when that happens, you need to figure out a solution for it. So believe it or not, talking into an open room is usually pretty good. If there's things on those walls, even better. And if there's furniture, especially like a couch or a carpet, hugely impactful. All of those things will suck up some of the sound. Now I'm going to cut back over so you guys can see what it looks like with a 4K $1,500 camera. And I'm not trying to flex with a nice camera here, but you'll actually be able to see now I have a massive amount of isolation. I look super clear. I'm actually probably a little too warm here. I'm going to bring it down a little bit on the temperature spectrum, and that's pretty accurate to what I would realistically look like in person. My skin complexion looks good. My shirt looks good. I'm completely separated from the background. You see a little bit of a glow around me from the green, but that's totally normal. That's because the lights aren't just shining up on the walls. They're also hitting the ceiling and some of that light is coming back on me. But this is what a good Zoom quality can look like. If you do have some money laying around, I would highly recommend not getting this specific camera, but another DSLR, maybe on eBay, save some money there. But it's all about the lens, believe it or not. Your camera quality matters, but it's not that important. What's really important is your lens. That is the most important thing. So I'm going to leave a link down to the cam link that I use, which allows me to use this into my computer. I'm going to leave links to everything. That way you guys are never curious to know. I'll even leave links to my nice little my dual light setup here, where you guys can see it even holds my phone if I'm traveling. But this is the setup that I use for all of my meetings, regardless of what they are, who I'm meeting with. Just makes my life so much easier. So I hope you guys found value in this. I'll see you guys in the next part. Alrighty guys, I hope you guys found some massive value in that. I hope you guys start to implement this. If not, just take some little steps into getting some better quality. It does make a difference. I couldn't believe that even on my little $60 webcam, people were shocked and raving about the quality that I had. And it's not that great of a webcam. I mean, it's a handful of years old already. I didn't spend that much money on it, but most people don't really understand the things that I just taught you guys. So go implement those things. Let me know if you guys do take any action. Leave a comment down below on what you guys found valuable, or if you guys have any questions about other ways to completely upgrade your Zoom setup or just your video setup in general. I'd love to hear them. And if you guys found value in this, hit that like button, subscribe button, little notification bell, and I will see you guys on the next video. Till then,